Come on, counter straight. Come on, let me hear. Let's get louder. Welcome to Talking Counter. Come on, let me hear. Let's get louder.
Welcome to Talking Counter.
All right, we're live. We're recording.
If the test recordings made the internet, would we be cancelled?
Probably. Maybe
No.
on this one. Not this one.
No.
This one was kind of safe.
This one was safe.
We would not be cancelled, but we would have a can of worms would indeed be opened. That would have been the end for some. Not us though.
Okay.
Not us though.
Tell me
But-
about these worms, Yanko.
But not today, Satan. Not today.
Oh, dear.
Maybe, we'll see. It will open eventually.
The can is very close to being open.
It's like a time capsule, but not
It's like a Pandora's box.
You don't know when it'll come out. We never know when we'll check.
We didn't set the date.
No.
It's just in there.
Yeah.
And one day we're gonna remember.
But before then, we might forget all the things inside the box. That'll happen.
But there's a lot of us who have put things inside the box. So I feel like collectively, as a unit,
Okay.
we might have like a collective memory.
And would unlock each other's memories.
Yeah, and it would,
Okay.
and we could build upon it.
Okay.
We could rebuild it.
Yanko, how is that grape juice?
No, that's a glass of red wine, Chad.
Technically, it's grape juice, so.
You're just in a douchey mood these days, are you?
Yeah, but
I tried to set it up.
I have ways. But my mind is working a little bit slowly. Listening to all those interviews. But I think depends the way you look at it. But I have a stronger mental than Jason. You won't rile me up, Chad,
Damn, okay.
easily.
I did get you good last time.
As easily.
You did get me good last time. You like to go at me when I'm at my lowest point, and I'm a little bit tired, a little bit hungover.
Fragile.
The funniest thing is like he's going for the lowest hanging fruit, and you're like,
So the reason it tilted me was because Alex had that conversation with me the other night.
When they were 10-man.
So was it in tandem?
Alex was using it as banter.
It was
And-
after
and
the
I'd
it was
heard.
after the 10-man, and I went down, and everyone had a drink after the 10-mans.
and before the 10 man.
And before the 10-mans. And we did a round of shots, and Alex didn't want one, so I told him I thought he was being a pussy.
10-mans are pretty different after the alcohol.
We have to ban 10-mans, I think, from this group.
I don't play them.
I know
I
you
got
don't.
out of it as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's actually the worst experience playing Counter-Strike in my life.
He's not holding any punches.
It's just
the worst, like comparable to all experiences. Like you're talking about.
To be
worse
honest,
than
I don't
getting,
really-
like,
I don't
four
think- I don't-
non-communicative Russians in face.
I don't touch solo queue.
Worse.
I don't touch solo
Solo
queue.
queue's bad.
But it would have been better, I think, or not better. It would have been less bad because I could just shut out,
Sure.
turn off and just
I
run
mute-
around
I
and do
mute
the
the-
same.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
another
NPC. Yeah.
incommunicado Russian, right? But this way, trying to communicate with people or people like the stuff our colleagues do in 10-mans, like, yeah, not for me, dog. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh dear. I played one face yesterday, and I solo queue because I can't play with like the Harrys and Alexes or Hugos or whatever because I think I can play with Hugo now. I think he's got his ELO up, but the disparity's too big. So it like works out that if we play, we lose.
Hashtag humble brag.
Well, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
If we lose full, but if we win nothing, right? So it's like, well, it's kind of what's the point? And also, if they want to try and build up their ELO, it's more detrimental to them. So I just played, and I played against this Impala guy. I don't know if you've ever played against this Impala guy. He's like Ukrainian streamer. And fucking hell, every time I get matched against him, I want to win so bad because the guy is just a beta. Like, he's just a beta, right? And he streams and shit. And I know that if I'm owning him, he's going to be tilted off the face of the earth. I played Train, we just fucking fisted him. And I was like, I'm so happy I went to bed after that. I was like,
Go out on the high note.
I don't want to play again.
I had a beta in a retake server, bro. And it was so fucking bad that at some point I'm like, I'm just gonna ruin this guy's life now. I don't care. Like, so we would spawn on a retake for Mirage, right? And we would spawn on like Cat and mid,
Yeah.
and he would like start walking top mid to go flank, and I would just run behind him. And as he's walking up like ramp,
Yeah.
walking behind ramp, I would just start shooting with
Okay, so
like
they
a
know where he's
USP
coming
and
from.
everything,
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
know where he's coming from. And like because he would like, one thing that he would bait everyone. The second thing is even when like he's the last alive and he can't win the round, he's like 1v3 or 1v4, he would not just go and die. So the next retake round starts. He would like literally wait for people to come at him so he kills them, right?
He's
like
playing for stats
he's
in
like
retake.
saving for
Yeah.
he's playing for stats in retake. And I'm like, This is everything that's wrong
I
with the
saw
world
this
today.
the other day in an official
Everything.
match. Though.
It's in
Dude.
this little like.
I saw this in an official match the other day. The player could not win. It was the final round of the game. They could not win. And they didn't even attempt going for it. They were just like sitting
I know.
back. And I was like, what?
I know it's some weak
When
shit.
I see
isn't
that,
it?
I'm like, you're protecting stats for HLTV. Like that's
Yeah.
actually what you're doing. I'm like, that is the worst thing I ever see. That makes me so mad. There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than fucking baiters.
I know the feeling.
Other than cheaters, then you got baiters.
Yeah, we got 2 cheaters in our games the other night, and I just haven't
Dude,
played Counter-Strike since.
You can't play the
Well-
fucking the official. Yeah, like it's
What's
shit.
what's so sad is like it happened so quickly too. It was like round 4, and I just had an AWP, and I killed one on the cross, and then I assumed one was pushing lower B. So as I went in after on Dust 2 to upper B, I just cleared the angle with the AWP and killed him, and they immediately called me a cheater. And then the next round and every single round was just
blatant.
Yeah, it's just blatant. It was just obvious.
I saw a video on like Instagram when I was up because I've been doing a lot of doom scrolling. Right, there's so many hours in these days at the moment. It's fucking insane. So the doom scroll is at an all-time high. Like I've become full
Yeah.
degen. Like my life feels like it's over. And I was doom scrolling the other day, and it showed like the perspective of what the cheaters look like. And I'm looking at this thing like, what? Like it's full third person, all the crazy menus, the color, everything. I'm like, they're playing a different game. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but it's like I don't know how anybody's enjoying their time.
No, I can't imagine it. And just the fact you get so tilted after like one round and then just start cheating, and it's like, well, I mean, you're just always going to suck at this game, so that's why you're always going to have to cheat.
It did like there was a period where it was rampant, then it tapered off for a hot minute, and now it's
coming
like
back
gone
up.
back up. It's like every time we go, all right, let's go play like a Premier, and then you play Premier, and it's like, fuck.
I haven't got a cheater in like 2 weeks. It's all good.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you go and you go play, and you're like, all right, fuck it, we'll go play comp. Surely nobody cares about cheating in comp because the only thing you get is a shitty rank, and then you go and you play comp, and they're there. So you're like, what?
I know,
Why
it's
don't
so
you,
sad.
You should just always play Face It. I only play comp with you
Sometimes
guys.
you're not in the mood for, and you also have the problem I have.
The sweaty,
If I
grindy
play with
Face It,
the Harrys and the Hugos of the world, I got the Elo issue.
Well, my elo is not that high. Like I'm at 2500. Like
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get boosted by JKS and as
I want to go check the stats. I played better without Justin, that fucking slime.
I think he was talking about Harry and Hugo, not you.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I think he was talking about me.
Harry got boosted.
I want to ask a question.
Ask
go
away.
ahead.
Is Spirit the team in the major who relies the most on carry performances to win? Got real serious all of a sudden, didn't I?
I would say yes. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to just consider your question and what other teams would I would consider. I would say yes.
I mean, you're saying they have the weakest, let's say, structure and team play out of, and need more
Yes.
individual
Their
performances,
T-size.
and they only
Dog
have,
shit.
they really only have 2 individuals who can. Yeah,
And
I
even
think
the
that at
second
moment-
individual isn't always there on the T sides. He plays passive.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I think that's probably fair to say at this point in time, because probably the second name you would put there is G2, but even they have more structure
They
and
look
look
put together this
Yeah,
event.
they look
Yeah.
much better as a team, much better, and also they have more players who can do it.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh yeah, we need Nico and Moss. Like Malbs and Hunter can. Hunter had, I think,
Hunter
a great.
played well today.
Yeah, and even Snacks is having a really
Having
good
good
event.
impact. He had great impact
I
today.
told you, I said this in some episode when we talked about Snack. I said he's not a bad player. He's a
There's the
guy who's playing
confidence.
with zero confidence. And you see that clutch, the 1v2, and him doing the thing
yeah,
and
yeah,
playing
yeah,
around.
yeah.
That's a dude who has his confidence
Yeah.
now.
He's got some swagger.
And lo and behold, all of a sudden his stats are
He
better.
had that disgusting 2v5 with Nico today as
Oh,
well.
that was crazy.
That was
Did you
nuts.
see? You would have
No.
been asleep, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
his
Dude,
scout shot
That's
was
why this
unreal.
event has been smooth for me. I've slept through all G2 games. No stress.
The first 3 rounds, so we come in, me and Alex, we're both a little bit under the weather. I'm recovering from a cold. I think Alex is in the middle of it. I woke up, I got a droopy eye. I'm like, I'm having a stroke. It's all over. Probably just a sty. We'll find out. Anyway, so things are miserable. Like, we're not feeling great. We go in, we're like, nah, don't worry about it. We got a sick game. G2 versus FaZe. This will get us going. This will fire us the fuck up. Pistol rounds, banana rushes. G2 run down mid. It's like bang, 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 right? Sick. Okay, cool. It's high octane. Next round, force buy. G2 running down mid again. They're getting stuck in on Inferno. Brokey takes down 3. I've gone. It's all over. He's cold 3. Right, that's it. They've dealt with that force buy. Next minute, bang. Snacks with a scout kill. Nico, 1 dig in banana. I'm like, hold up a second. Rops, trundling through apartments with an MP7 or some shit. Snacks is repos from top mid. He's end of halls. USP in hand. Rops is shooting 15 bullets with an SMG. Does almost like no damage. Bang, 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 bang. Snacks kills with a USB. 2v2. Rain, he's already lurking around arch side. Snacks has jumped out. He's looking side. He's already scoped in arch. Bang! Headshot on Rain. 2v1 situation. Snacks is low. He goes into the side. Last player's running up short. Ba, ba, ba. Nico appears in library. 1 dig from library to short. Bang! And then the game was over.
Nice.
The game was over.
I was gonna try and play it during that, but I failed. That was beautiful reenactment.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
chat.
the best round of my day. So
I know the feeling.
I realized that how dominant or quick the game was when I saw you at breakfast. I was leaving. I was doing the last two games. You only did the first game, and we were at breakfast together. So you got back before I even went in, and I'm like kind of aiming to be there, 40 minutes before I need to be on.
Not only that, Alex and I, by the time we got back, it was 6:45, and it's a Saturday. So we went to go to breakfast, and we walked up, and the guy goes, "Oh no, we don't open for 10 minutes." And I went, "What?"
Yeah, come on.
So Alex and I went up to our room or whatever, and waited the 10 minutes, came back down, and had
What
breakfast.
time
and then
your game started at 5 today?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also for that game in particular, I mean, G2 has always beat FaZe in groups like this year, and maybe even a little bit longer than that. Perhaps even met in playoffs in one tournament and they beat them. But
They played twice with this roster.
Yeah, in general, like they have the upper hand. So even if FaZe was not struggling as much as they are, I still think it would go to G2. But yeah, for it to be this dominant, I think it feels great for G2. I mean, after the stumble against Mongols and some silly rounds in a best of one, they just ran through everybody else, like no problems whatsoever.
Nico played well, Modesty played well. Actually, everybody played well. They all
Yeah.
played well. There wasn't a single player on that team that didn't have a good showing today. And you can say part of it was FaZe looking flat, but the other part of it was G2 like ready to play. Like, they weren't fucking around. There was always an idea. The comms were flowing.
Did you do the FaZe Mouse game?
FaZe Mouse game.
Yesterday?
No,
the
no,
best
no,
of
no,
one.
no, no.
Yeah, that's what I thought. How did FaZe beat Mouse? Because I
Harry and Hugo did
I watched
it.
them against Heroic, and it was like, bro.
So according to Alex, he spoke to them. He said one of them, either Harry or Hugo, told Alex that like Rops was really active. Rops was really, and he top fragged that map.
All right.
So I guess like some proactive nature from Rops, but I didn't see it. We were casting something else.
Because
at the
that
time.
was pretty surprising. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I said I did the vanilla pick'ems, but I'm worried for FaZe. And tomorrow it's
yeah.
FaZe Fury, and I said I wanted to swap FaZe for Furia, but I didn't. And they play each other tomorrow. Kerrigan versus Fallen one more time.
Classic.
Bro, did you see any of the Pain Furia game?
Yeah.
Did you see the
On
last?
Inferno?
The
Oh my
fucking-
God.
The scrappy rounds
We
at
had
the
a
end.
tech pause, and we were watching. We were like, Furia just won a 1 AK4 USP
Cello
round,
went big.
and then they lost to Glocks.
Literal Glocks.
Yep.
And they even got the first kill with a nade.
And somehow they won the game. It's like
Yeah, and because then they won the bite
Richard had a
back.
great message about it in the group chat.
I'm not in the group chat, so I missed it.
Never mind. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh no, tell him what it said.
No, but I saw it. I saw
Two really
good teams.
average teams fighting.
Yeah, I saw. I watched. I had both streams running at once, so I was watching both games at once, and I saw both those rounds, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then they still closed it. Furia still closed it. The kind of fun thing I was thinking about that was, but if Pain had beaten Furia, they most likely would have played MIBR. And you've been having this conversation about like the best in Brazil.
Yep.
And that would have been like the trifecta.
Yeah, it would have been really
if
cool.
If Pain had come out on top, that would have been a cool way to kind of settle it for the playoffs, and it would have been sick for Brazil to have those matches.
Honestly, it feels like the Americas RMR is just like never ended. I feel like through this entire tournament, there's just been America's teams playing against each other frequently.
Well, that's just because of the sheer amount of teams
There's
that
so
came
many in
through
them,
the
yeah.
opening stage,
Yeah.
right? That weren't of European descent. And now, because we've had Liquid and the Mongols already lock themselves in for the playoffs, that means the next major, even though it's going to be different with 32 teams, or rumored to be, that the teams starting in the top 16, right? So the eight European teams this around will only be 6, and it could be less. So you have one Asian team, which is crazy to think about.
Well, you
and
still
at
have a
least
chance
one
for
American.
Fury to make it through. That would take another
And
spot.
MIBR.
And MIBR.
Well, actually,
that is going to be a hard match for them.
That's
though.
They're
impossible.
not.
They start
I mean,
one
Furia
map down.
can beat FaZe, but
Yes.
MIBR versus Mouse.
They start one map down because of Mirage.
There's no way.
They
bro.
played like ass today as well. I was
They were really
so
poor.
disappointed today.
They were way worse than like they looked at the RMR. They were so lost on T side, bro. Like,
But
in
their
mid-round-
Mirage sucks.
Bad reaction, even on Anubis. Bad reactions, slow reactions.
and like,
If they hadn't won the pistol, should have been like 10-2 for.
and like none of their T sides could contain Liquid just pushing like literally 80% of the rounds that were being played. There was always a push coming from somewhere, and their
Well,
T
Justin had to bail him out early, right?
Yeah.
Justin had 2 big 3K rounds. He had that
Yep.
1v1 that ended up after Drop fucking fumbled running away from A main.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was like Lucao's in a 1v3, right? Or
It was a 1v2.
1v2. But he was like, he should have never, he was like, it was really hard 1v2.
Oh, yeah. He killed the
But
first.
that was Drop. Like, Drop should have instantly started running towards
Yes.
B once the kill happened. He stuck around for like 5 more seconds, and that's why he got shot in the back.
Dude, Get this, the opposite, like you can see tier 1 teams and how good the comms and reactions are. I'll use the G2 game versus FaZe as an example. We're on second map, it's Mirage. You know, like how sometimes FaZe will put Frozen, who's the short holder, they'll sometimes like tuck him under balcony and he'll like activate second after rain goes down.
Yeah.
Well, he played on top of balcony and there was like an app smoke and Nico went to go through the smoke and he started spamming and Frozen killed him. And as soon as that happened, G2 just immediately dropped everything and rotated B and they ended up winning the round. And then I was so glad they cut to the comms of Nico after he died. And he's like, it's Frozen, go B, go B. And I'm like, there you go. Like, they're still nameplating Counter-Strike. Like, this is what you want to see. This is the top shit. And it's like those reactions in those moments is what defines like rounds. And it was great to see. Whereas this MIBR game, it sucks because they've been playing against hard teams, sure, but you're seeing the
Wasn't even
insufficient.
close.
Yeah, their map pool's not deep, and Liquid looking average too. Like Liquid's run to the playoff, and I know I'm one of the people who says you can only play who's in front of you, but still, like they're so fortunate with their draw because they have looked tough at every hurdle.
They played some tough teams, but the two teams they beat to get there are not anything to be
Which
like
tough
super
team
proud
did they
about.
play?
They played Navi,
the best of one,
to
yeah.
start
Which they
out.
lost.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've played some tough teams. It's
Yeah,
just
but they
the
didn't
ones they
beat
won.
any tough teams. That's the.
I think Fury is tougher than people give them credit for. They're just up and down.
but
But they
they're
beat
also
Fury in the RMR.
they're also
Yeah.
like
they
Liquid's
do have
bench.
Fury as number. Yeah,
That's like
Yep.
G2 and Spirit.
I'm
right?
with you.
But I think also for Liquid, that's the problem. You watch that Nuke game and you watch their T side and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Oh man.
You know, it was 6-6
I
at the half, 3-0, 9-6. Okay, you lose the round. And then they did this thing, like, they didn't force buy after that to try to get the reset. They ecoed, but they spent too much money. So once they lost that round, they ecoed again.
Yeah.
And they gave, like, free momentum to MIBR, who it was 9-6. Then
favor of
it was
Liquid.
11-9 for MIBR.
Yeah.
I think after that 11-10, 13-10. I think something like that. Or maybe even
was
12-9,
12-9, it was
12-10,
12-9.
13-10.
So, well, I was watching the game, and as I was watching, I was in Flom's stream, where he was co-streaming. And Flom said something which I think, like, on face value, people will probably take as pretty reductive. But I kind of get what he means when he said this regarding, like, the matchup against MIBR. And it was the sentiment was essentially, they're trying too hard. Like, and I kind of get it. Like, they're overcomplicating things. Like, you have good players. Kind of just keep it a bit more simple, or be willing to take more heads-up duels, or be willing to do something. Because some of the decisions I see Liquid making, either they're too indecisive because they're talking about too much shit and no one can make a decision, or it's like you can see what they're thinking. Oh, it's late and this, and it's like a lot of these teams you should just be able to bully.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a problem with a lot. I mean, in that game specifically, that one round they won right at the end was just Naf literally bullying into lobby and then out of the upper bomb side and just getting a quad kill in the round.
Yeah, I think also what might have been the case is that Liquid wasn't expecting Nuke at all. That they were really expecting Inferno potentially, right? Because MIBR beat Navi on it, and Liquid had that loss against FlyQuest, I don't know, and then maybe they didn't prep as much for Nuke because if, there's no reason for you to prep Nuke if you think that, if you're sure that they're going to pick Inferno because that was going to be your ban in the second phase.
I felt that both ways because I felt like MIBR banning Ancient instead of Anubis as well was like they must have prepped for Anubis
that
and
was
just
nice.
felt like they were so dedicated to the prep that they didn't want to go for the better map in the process, and that just ended up killing them. But I fucking knew that game was going to get weird on Nuke as soon as that fourth round with all 10 people surviving.
Save, yeah.
I was sat there, I was amazed. I was like, because Liquid never rotated anyone at all. I feel like they miscommed or blew a rotation, and they were like, all right, fuck it, we gamble.
Yeah, here's the problem. Like, you should never be in that situation.
Yeah.
That's in a 5v5. You just have no info about Secret. But once that has happened, the best call was to
Is the
say.
same.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But it's more the fact that they found themselves in that situation in the first.
And
Right.
yeah.
Like
yeah,
no one
exactly.
dropped vents immediately in the smoke going up. Nobody dropped ramp. There was Ultimate was there with an AWP, and Naf was playing like heaven hell / outside, and it's like none of them made the call to shift downstairs, and I was like, oh, this is fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, their map pool seems weak. I think Liquid's map pool seems very weak. The maps that I would like to see them play more of are Ancient and Anubis. Like, those are the maps where I think they might actually have a puncher's
Well, those
chance.
are their two best maps.
Yeah, but,
even
but
statistically.
we're seeing them, like, obviously best of ones, but in some of these cases, like, watching them play Inferno, I hate watching them play Inferno. Like, their Mirage is... They punish picked it today, which is good, but I didn't think they would because their stats are bad on it. Like their Dust 2, I think it's pretty mid as well. Like
I think their CT sides just feel very one-dimensional to me at the moment, where like there's so much aggression and so much pushing.
it's always
and it's
Jakinda, you notice that?
Yeah,
Whenever
they move them
wanna-
anywhere around the
exactly,
map.
just
Yeah.
a constantly moving piece.
And it's also just
like an AWPA.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of it like heroic on steroids, sort of a style, right? And that's why I even said in the game, I'm like, if you're MIBR, like your whole game plan against Liquid is just take space and hold
Yeah,
to
force
punish.
them to
They did none of
Right,
that.
or
actually did neither
or
of those
rely
things.
on timings. Like they lost a fight before MIBR in a key round, where it's like you need to understand if, let's say, you've killed Ultimate on mid on Anubis, right, and you've taken mid, they killed them in camera, and you've taken that. You have to understand Liquid is gonna do something,
Yeah.
either push the sides or come back and retake
regress.
mid, which
Yeah.
is what they did. So if you're drop and knack, your plan needs to be like, if this happens and we get a kill out of default, we need to either group up and hit the site in 15-20 seconds, right, and trust that timing. Or if they push the side, right, like even if they try to push the side and not that gap, you leave one player there to lurk. And then if they push the side, you're there in numbers and your lurker can go to work, right? Like you can get the trades if they go for the aggressive player, and the lurker can work. That's all it is. That you do that every single round, every single map, right? It just depends on the structure of the map. It's a little bit different. And it's like Liquid, even it was so obvious. Like they threw a smoke main deep, A main, and that's when they converged on mid. And you switch to MIBR, they're just chilling in front of the smoke. It's like that's why that's actually, I've seen this when we were on fight. Like Nico would say, well, "Let's walk through the smoke," because he knows that that's
Just a block smoke,
right?
yeah.
It's just a block smoke, and if you go back to the Dallas final or the game against Vital, that was the final, and you watch Inferno, you'll see a lot of those calls. You see a lot of calls where it's like somehow in the mid round he has a read where to go, where the space is, but that's because of understanding. There's no sense for them to throw this nade now at this timing, right? To smoke now.
Sure.
So it must be that they are like
Trying to do
inviting
something
us
somewhere
or
else.
whatever.
Yeah.
So let's just, fuck it. And sure, it's risky, but more often than not, he's right.
You think they got frozen by inexperience? I mean, Safe and Drop have been to enough majors, but Drop not isn't IGL.
Dude, like if you're
They're really
starting a-
nervous. Like they're nervous.
Yeah.
Like
If
they're
you're starting
nervous.
a
They're
series
confident.
one map
I think.
Yeah, that too.
If I had to guess, it sounds shitty, but if I had to guess, like I feel it's Drop probably because
Safe had some
Trying to be
he's a
too
new
controlling.
IGL, right? Like he's new at this,
only
and it's
20.
a little bit like stressing sometimes about, do we do this? Do we taking a little bit too much time to make a call to his teammates? That's how it looks like. I might be wrong. Maybe he's saying it and the players are freezing and they're not moving and doing what he's telling them. But regardless, that's what's fucking them. I just remember the complexity game at the RMR on Vertigo where they came back on T side. It was brilliant. It was patient. They were just abusing rotations from complexity, punishing them. It was great. Like if they can play like that, they have a chance tomorrow. But I have a hard time believing that they can turn it around, so quickly, and just the quality of Maus feels insurmountable
I'd be
for them at this
amazed.
point.
I'd be amazed if they beat Mouse tomorrow.
I think they pick either Vertigo or Ancient into Mouse, and Mouse are comfortable on both those maps. Mouse haven't played a lot of Ancient recently, and I think they're on a 2-map losing streak. Sure, I think Mouse have to pick Mirage.
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
There's no reason
They will
not
pick-
to.
They will
It'd be
pick.
silly not
They
to
will
pick it.
pick Mirage.
I saw MIBR as well also went to start on the T side of Mirage there on Liquid Shows, I guess, to try and set the tempo, which I was like, well, I guess, like, give it a go, because your maps, it fucking sucks. You might as well try something. Like, it's
Yeah,
it's
but
an
even
attempt.
there, if they win the pistol, second round, just a straight up A execute,
Yeah.
right? And then Drop fails on Ultimate. Ultimate wasn't even looking at him as he
Oh,
got out
the
of
scout.
apps.
Yeah, he had
If he
time.
kills him,
Yeah,
Ultimate is the only guy who's in front of the smokes. So they have a chance. And then even the reset round after that, it was like a really poor round from MIBR. Just T sides.
That whole
really
series
poor.
though, between MIBR struggling and Liquid, just like as you said, looking average, was just like such a weird game to watch. I felt like neither team was like really trying to win. Like they were playing, both teams played super safe in that whole series.
Yeah.
Outside of the CT pushes from Liquid, everything was just very textbook, by the book, not throwing anything crazy out there.
The thing is, if you look at maps 1 and 3, Liquid dominated them.
Yeah.
But then when you bring Nuke into the conversation, you're like, oh, hold up a second.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look great. So,
Yeah, 13-2, 13-5 on maps
exactly
1 and
right.
3.
So they own them. And to think you had to cast that, but there was still a bigger blowout of the day, fucking 13-4, 13-3. Like, I cannot believe the FaZe versus G2 series. Like, I
told you this morning, I woke up to watch that, and I woke up like 20 minutes, 30 minutes in, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
It wasn't worth it.
No.
Like, the thing with that series was there was probably a couple of rounds that were close that like could have changed the dialogue. Like if Obviously, if FaZe don't lose the force buy in the second round, then they get likely, and they shouldn't have. It was a fucking 2v5. They should have had like a 3-0 round conversion out at the start, right? And then their T half, we're talking 5 or 6 rounds, I think. I think they managed 8-4, or was it 7-5? No,
8-4.
8-4.
So they could have had, I think they could have had 5 or 6 rounds within their first half, right? Pretty comfortably. But then their CT side, it's the classic FaZe situation when they don't give themselves a bigger buffer. They're just like forcing and fighting, forcing. And it's like, oh, first gun round Inferno, and you don't have full utility to get banana control. You don't have the HEs to soften them up. You're lacking the Molotovs. It's like, good luck. Good luck. Like, I don't know what you meant to do.
So most top kills, Monacy, 1 on that Inferno.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing. The AWP barely played in. The like AWPing was such a non-factor throughout that series. Maybe a little bit on Mirage he got going.
I guess for a team like FaZe 2 that's already kind of shaky right now, and obviously looks like they've lost some confidence, losing that second round has got to just be backbreaking to a certain extent, to like the mentality.
Well,
to
the way they
environment.
came out into the third, they actually had a good crack. Carrigan went apartment super fast with a Tech 9, got 2 kills. They had a 3v5, and then there was trades back, and then I think Frozen got left in a 1v1, and then he lost. So the first 3 rounds were exciting, and then everything else was shit.
It was just a wash.
Yeah. It just, and there was other rounds where, so like Rop, they double AWP'd, and Ropska, this was Mirage, they double AWP'd, Rops is in market with the AWP, he kills them as they're executing B, and then Carrigan is shooting Hunter in the back, and he dinks but whiffs. Hunter kills him, and then kills Rops, and they lose the site. So it's like, and then they lose a round, and Hunter like gets 4 kills or something like that. It's like, just it's the little details. Like, Hunter owned them. Like, Hunter went, I'm gonna have a big boy game.
I fucking love that.
And just mauled them. So for FaZe tomorrow versus Furia, like I don't think MIBR have much of a chance against Mouse unless Mouse shit the bed. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be 2-0 Mouse. Furia versus FaZe, I'm with you. I think Furia have a real shot. If anything,
They're the favorite.
Might be the favorite. Yes,
They are the favorites. Like they're a 60-40 favorite.
yeah, like it's pretty. Like this is the thing though, because I'm fed up with the narrative at the moment of can't rule FaZe out.
Yeah, you can. They're playing too poorly to use that narrative.
You think?
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest reason for that is their individuals are playing too poorly.
Yeah.
And that Ancient even against Heroic, like
yeah.
just the disconnect in mid rounds. It's a team that
They have a dead team debuff.
It feels like a team that's not super alive, man, because like some of those rounds, how they go, it feels like players are just not communicating enough in the mid round. Like they're just lazy, They're just like waiting for whatever to Carrigan to say, but they're not updating the information like enough, and that's leading to sort of botched calls and losing rounds and looking silly, which then obviously is going to be very frustrating for Carrigan because he knows that it looks like shit and just becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. But yeah, I don't know. It's not.
They lack a third selfless rifler. They have 2 betas.
I mean, I wouldn't even go that deep into it.
I'm HLTV forums now, bro. They got 2 betas.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw you pumping in there earlier today.
Yeah, well, people are like, I'm throwing PGL under the bus for saying we were in Romania, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's been known for a while.
This has been publicized for an extremely long time.
Yeah.
Because I said, oh, we started this morning at 5 a.m. local here in Romania, and it's just gone 6:30, and the series come to a close. This was meant to be game of the day, and it's over in an hour and a half. And then there was that thread, and I was like, no, I'm not throwing PGL under the bus. Like,
People are just trying to start drama, man.
this is a perfect world major, right? And we do a PGL broadcast from Romania. Okay, it is what it is. Does waking up early in the morning suck? Yes, but hey, with all this dialogue, right, that's been happening around the viewership and everything like that, and it sucks, and Europeans have the most viewership, blah 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 blah. Bro, this is the 21st major and the first time we've ever had one in this time zone. If every 20 majors go by and then we do one, I think that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
Like every decade we do one in this time zone. Yeah, I think that's fine, guys.
I think also it's like when you look at the fact that the arena everything's in Chinese there and all of that stuff, and PGL got the rights for the English broadcast. So what's the upside for us being there right now? Like for the only upside is for us, that we could have a more of a feel that we're at the tournament and get some from casual conversations with the players or staff from different teams, maybe get some information that we could use in the broadcast. But is that worth probably like
hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Probably 100 to 200K, like in terms of paying for the extra stay and moving all the production people and the equipment and everything. That's an easy answer, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I was only worried a little bit, is there going to be tech issues with the delays and everything? They found a way.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, they found a way to like get it done. So it's like, yeah, it's shitty for everyone that's here in the sense of it's weird hours, mostly so for the people in production because they're there for
all day,
all
day,
the games like that happen. But outside of that, you know,
I will say this:
it makes perfect sense, right?
This is us being adults about the situation, right? And looking at it from a
an adult perspective,
exactly, and what a business would do, and all of that. I will say from a personal, selfish perspective, I would love to.
Yeah, I would rather fucking be there. Anything.
I mean,
sure.
also just
I'm going crazy in this hotel room. It's been 30 days in the same room, and I'm losing my mind.
the Schengen days. Are also,
I'm eating more
Schengen
Snickers
days.
bars. It's all coming uncurled here at the end. It's crazy. I'm eating like this morning. I'm just chomping on Snickers bar in one hand and a banana in the other one. I'm taking a bite of each one, just one at a time. It's fucking mental. I'm just trying to find ways to get through the last 2 days of this event.
well, you have feeding issues. I mean, that goes without saying. Like, Jason sometimes only eats once a day, and it's like a box of Pringles and
It's not quite that bad.
Snickers bar.
Let's not go to that far.
half a steak.
Yeah, and that's why
4
Yanko,
Snickers
over
bars
there
and
in the
4
corner.
bananas.
That's why over there in the corner of the room, there's that massive shit stain. It's just Jason's diet. He just can't control himself.
Oh shit!
No, that was after a 10-man the other night. And it's not shit, it's puke. He was physically ill from the Counter-Strike that was being played.
Yeah, I probably should have had the cleaners come in a little bit earlier.
What are they going to do about it? It's fine. They steam the carpet. Should be right.
That'll be good.
We'll get through it, mate.
You know, one thing that's come out of this major that makes me so sad. I hate that we have to have the conversation reopens up when you see all the with all the crowd stuff going on in the matches, and now it's like I have to fight everyone again about fucking soundproof booths. Why does that seem to be like a conversation that we just have on repeat like once a year?
Just ignore it.
Jason,
can't.
soundproof booths don't work. Don't ask for them.
I can't ignore it. Shut the fuck up. That's the weakest.
But why?
That's the weakest
Why
attempt.
does it irk you so much?
Because it's just such a terrible idea, and I feel like we've been over it so many times. And actually, I think my biggest issue with it is nobody's even identifying the true cause of the problem. We've solved this
The fire
problem.
safety issues.
No, not even that. Actually, I mean, the real issue with the boxes are apparently to build those correctly. It takes like 5 days. So if you're going to do that for an arena, it's like an extra 5 days of having to build those soundproof booths, and they don't really work.
Well, actually.
But also, we've solved the problem. Like, there's a reason why we don't see these things pop up at an ESL event, at a Blast event. It's because in those situations, the production and the observers know you don't switch to that flanking player until the battle has begun. You catch it like right when it starts instead of the build up to it, so the crowd doesn't have a chance to react. Turn X-ray off, and those are all things that Perfect World, who have, I'm not even going to bash them, they've done a really good job with the event they've run, and it looks like it's going smooth. The players are praising them. The crowds are in there. They don't run enough Counter-Strike events to realize that's the fix to this problem.
Yes.
Well,
And that's the biggest problem for the crowd there. And would I like them to know it? Yeah, I don't want these moments to be an issue. But then I go on Reddit and it's like, oh, look at the crowd cheating. I'm like, it's not even cheating. The crowd's just emotionally invested in the game and want the cool moment to happen. Can we not call it cheating? Can we not make this into like the fans of Brazil are cheaters because they do this? The fans in China are cheating. The fans of wherever are just cheating because they like this team. It's such an insane conversation to be breaking out. They're just there to enjoy the game, and that's what we want out of the fans.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of important distinctions. I think first and foremost, it's on the production, right? Like the TO has to address it, because expecting people to be educated about it, bro, you want them to be excited.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe the crowd in Europe or somewhere else is a little bit more educated than in Asia or somewhere else, but not to the level where they're not going to be completely silent about it.
Right.
And you don't want that either. So I think it's enough that you sort of show that he's there so that people understand what's about to happen, and then switch to not the last guy but the second guy who might potentially make a 180 and kill him, right? And then see what happens. Just keep it on someone else until the kills happen. I don't like the X-ray turning off thing, because first of all, once you see it and he's still behind, it's going to still create excitement.
But you should see flanks, unless it's like in smoke or something like that. Like, those moments are different to like if it's a ramp flank on Mirage. You know that's coming from a mile away as an observer.
But I will say this, from watching games here and there in the arena at ESL events, I feel like, for example, they're overdoing it. They're turning off the X-ray too much. If you're in the arena and you're watching a Counter-Strike game with no X-ray, you have no idea what the fuck's going on.
It's pretty hard.
You can't, it's so hard because the screens are not ideal for watching a game that has so many details and stuff, right? Like, imagine like watching hockey, probably would be a good comparison. Sometimes if he doesn't scream and the light doesn't go that it went in,
Yeah.
you don't know, right? So I actually hate, because you want the crowd you want those moments. And if you paid for the ticket, you want to fucking see what's going on. So I think it's more about just switch away from the guy. It sucks, but you've shown him get it. So you've shown Tabson,
he's on the
for
flank.
example.
Yeah.
You've shown him he's on the flank. You have X-ray. You've shown that he's like, okay, he's behind him. They don't know. And then switch to one of the players who are on the other team, right? And that way, if you see the kill feed on Tabson, you'll still get excited because you'll see the multi-kill.
We can catch it in the replay.
And they'll die. In the replay, obviously, the guy will just press the Tabson button, and you sort of covered it, right? Like, you've let the crowd be excited. Yeah, they don't get to see it for Tabson's POV, but... Tabson gets to get the multi-kill because you haven't been on him.
It does. I did read a tweet from Gomez, manager of FlyQuest, used to be my manager back in the Vox Seminole Renegades days. And he said that when they were there on site, one thing that he noted was the casters would be telling the crowd, he doesn't speak Mandarin, but they.
Someone said they were shushing them.
Yes, I think that was Edward. I think Edward said that on Twitter because it was in the
cool.
back and forth conversation.
Shout out to the commentators.
Yeah, well, because I think I think Stryker had a word with Perfect World regarding some of those things to let them know about what can be done.
Blast Striker. What would we do without him?
I don't know. With spreadsheet, man, we'd really struggle when fucking Pro League's on, wouldn't we?
Dude, I hate spreadsheets. Fair play to him. He's a god.
Someone's got to do it. But yeah, so in terms of that issue, right? I guess I've seen the threads and stuff. I just haven't dived into them because I think with a lot of the things that we talk about from our perspective, because we are so in the trenches regarding anything Counter-Strike related, we are so used to these conversations. Yeah. But every now and again, it is probably worth us rehashing it for the point of educating the newer people who are getting on board. I'm sure there's like older listeners and hardcore fans or whatever who understand it, but there's always going to be new people getting involved. And that's where, sometimes when I'm in like an actual decent mindset, that's why some of the episodes I do on HLTV Confirmed, I make up PowerPoint documents to show all these
little graphic.
Yeah, and to kind of not like to walk people through it like they're stupid, but to kind of bring them up to speed with the things that are having an impact on our scene and the tournaments and everything like that. Because you can't just assume that everybody knows, right? And that's the tough part, because we know what we know and we kind of operate within that. But at the same time, and I'm not saying that we have a responsibility to tell people, but if we find ourselves in a position to do so, I think we should.
Yeah, and I think it's a unique, because I was thinking, what's the best case scenario for this? Like, you don't even want people, you don't want
it to be quiet.
Yeah, you don't want the crowd to be like educated enough to know and to be quiet. Why would you want, like, what's the point of coming if you're going to do that to a game?
Well,
and it's tough because tennis. We're the only thing out. No, but we're the only thing out there that's like the specific situation where the players are dealing with imperfect information. You can give something away. Every sport, you see everything, right? Everything's out there. There's no fog of war. So it's like, that makes it a little bit tricky. But I'm always for excitement and like production being creative about sort of not giving it away as much as possible. And at the end of the day, bro, you have to be aware of it. If you're
that's
Tabson,
what we talk about
right?
when we're playing stage matches.
I'll tell you, and I know I'll get ripped apart for this.
I said it during the cast. I'm surprised I didn't get
I'll get ripped apart, and I don't care. But one of the reasons why Nico didn't take more time in Stockholm with the Deagle was exactly that. He knew that the crowd was gonna, because he already heard like them starting to. He knew like
ramp up as he's going up the ladder.
If I wait another half a second, like this guy's gonna turn. Like that's just how it is playing on the stage, right? And he made the shot, whatever he missed. He sucks. He's terrible. He's choco. I don't care, but. That's the reality of it, right? And it comes with its risks, and it's a matter of fact of playing on stage. We talk about it in every single aspect of Counter-Strike. We talk about different calling on T-side when you're playing on the stage, momentum calls, and all of that stuff. We talk about using the sign cues of HEs, flying over. That was what Astralis abused for the longest time before people even knew that they were using that. And then production started showing like random nades being thrown so that... where there's no one there, so that it's like, okay, when you go back and you're a team and you watch that, you can't count on it, being a thing.
I feel like there's like a gentleman's agreement now with the players too. I don't actually know if this is true in any way, but I see a lot less of players in clutches like trying to like look through walls and like shake their mouse to get the reaction.
You see a fair bit.
Do you still see a lot of it?
Yeah. And I think the thing is, that's also kind of to Yanko's point. The players are going to be lambasted for that, but at the same time, if you are going to be able to receive that type of an advantage, and you're in a competition.
For example,
don't
that's
know.
something where the crowd can be educated for.
Yes,
That's
if a
something where they
player
can
is
learn
fishing
to
for
not
info,
react. If
don't
he's
give it
like
away.
baiting you
Yes.
guys to, and then you know he's doing that
Boo him.
to get something. No, but I mean,
Send out the booze.
no, I mean, and then you do it. Well, then you are like
Yeah,
sort
that's
of
bad.
helping him
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
know
yeah.
that you're not just getting. Who cares about that? That he's obviously fishing for it. And you're helping. Like that stuff. Yeah, education can help, but trying to get people less excited. Like, what the fuck's the
Yeah,
point?
that's
I
the
know.
opposite.
That's so stupid when you
With
say
it.
it
I
out
saw
loud.
some.
It's so
I saw
crazy.
someone saying like, I wish like these majors like didn't have crowds, or I wish like LAN events. It's all about zero ping. It's not about the crowds. It's not about the people in here. I'm just like, what the fuck? That's why I get angry when I see that. I'm just like, what the fuck is that? Was
We'll
that
just
idea?
do what we did with the RMRs. We'll just put them back in the hotel rooms and we'll play the whole event from there.
Yeah,
You know?
it'd be nice and cheap. I'm sure TOs will love it as well. They don't have to spend as much money on the
I think
arenas.
the thing is when people also suggest the booths and they go, "Oh, but Dota has it." I hear that and I go, but the thing with it is the raw experience is what this is about, right? You don't want them to feel like they are in a hotel room or in a bubble, and you go, "Oh no," but they can look up and see the crowd. I'm sure the reflection of the glass, mate. They're probably just looking back at themselves, like
Yeah.
you know. I prefer it without the booths. I think that we
I do
can
too.
have certain things
Same.
that can come into play, like we've just discussed here, that can help mitigate some of these issues. Will it crop up? Yes. Is it something we should try and limit as much as possible? Yes. Should people, stop getting so upset about these things? Yes.
I don't know. I don't have an ideal way to compare it, but it's like shooting a free throw in basketball and like people are like fucking whistling at you,
Oh,
and
mate,
booing
in
you and
Australia,
shit.
like
It's like, bro, yeah, keep your focus, bitch.
Yeah.
in Australia, like I remember my dad used to be a goalkeeper in
Oh, shit.
in football, and it was like for the second string team, like so just under like the state based team, right? So it was okay. And I remember as a little kid, I used to go and I would watch the games, but because he's the keeper, you go and sit behind the net. And as you're sitting behind the net or whatever, there's all like fans around and stuff, and people are like chanting, "Oh, you fat bastard, you're shit!" Like as the guys are taking penalties and trying to like get in the keeper's head and stuff like
Yeah.
this. And this,
And
live
you're like,
sport.
hey guys, that's my dad.
And he's not fat.
I'm only 8. Just has big bones.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, I think there was something I've spoken to Alex about this before, because when there is a moment like that happening in an arena and you're casting it, I've always wondered, like, is it better? And this isn't for me, it's for Alex because he's the play-by-play. Does he try and get louder to drown out the crowd, or do you try and go quieter to not add more noise in that moment? Like, it's a weird one because it's the general rumble of the crowd, right, that starts, and that's what kind of alerts the player. Like the spidey senses are tingling, like, and it's obviously not affecting all of them. If it's in a 1v1, okay, yeah, like when we're talking about like a 5v5 or whatever, then everybody's on high alert. So I've always thought about that, but this is the thing, it's different with arena casting.
Don't have a good answer for you. I usually try and operate with the philosophy of if that's happening, I let it happen. I don't try and go higher to drown it out. I don't try and talk softer to make less noise. I just cast normally.
In that way.
But I have caught myself in a couple times in arenas in like 1v1s when I see the roar coming, where like I try and shush it early on if I'm talking, if I'm like building up the moment and the rumble starts. I've tried unintentionally. It just happens where I'm like, no, please don't do that. But like, even I think that's kind of silly, because I think that in a way, like from my perspective, would break the immersion. If I'm listening at home and I hear that, I'd be like, what the fuck is this caster doing?
Yeah. Especially when you're like following like the flow of energy as well. Especially in like the really big games, you're like just like kind of riding that wave. So it is. It's never going to be perfect. But I think steps that we can take to make things better is key. So yeah, okay. What was the other match that we didn't talk about? There's one more.
We did MIBR Liquid.
Tomorrow?
We did Fury of Pain a little bit.
Navi Heroic.
And Navi Heroic.
Heroic can win that.
They could. I mean, they were supposed to beat them in Rio. They choked and threw.
I'm really impressed with this Heroic at the major so
Problem is,
far.
bro, both games, yesterday against Mongols, today, yesterday it was on Anubis, on CT side, lose a 5v2, lose a 5v3.
They also 1v5 today. I know they won that map, but that
was
was wild.
Yeah, but I mean, and today it was on Ancient, lost a 4v2.
Oh, yeah.
And lost
that
one.
That game went
like,
overtime, didn't it?
Sort of a 3v2 that, like, you can't put it as much on that round. Like, Zontings played good in both, but the 4v2, like, they just played it poorly.
Oh, horribly.
And that's the issue, man. It's like, comes down to those things for them. Like, most of the time, it looks good. The T sides, they look solid, right? Good momentum changes. Nerds was a beast on Mirage today. Like, both CT and T
Kickson
side,
was
just
good as
owning
well.
on middle.
Kickson was amazing today.
Yeah. Their lowest rated player was Tessis.
Yeah, okay.
Surprise, surprise. Another high pressure match where he doesn't show up.
I think
It was decent on Mirage, which
Yeah.
they won, but like, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
That's honestly the problem. It's just like this guy, even on Heroic, like with the full Danish lineup, is like whenever it's a grand final or something, it's not the same level of play you're used to seeing. Or whenever or sometimes when he does end up playing like decent, it's when they're like having no chance to, like
Sure, the game's
Well,
over.
there's
the
no
game is
pressure because the
over,
game's
right?
over.
So it's like, I don't think he's a bad player. He does seem like a choker a little bit. And I think when they were discussing in Heroic, when Cadian got backstabbed, and, I think the player he wanted to change was Tessis, most likely for someone, because
Sure.
that's how it looked like. And talking about people getting nervous and everything, like that's just the vibe that I was getting. And I'm not saying, obviously, it's very possible that he can overcome that, sort of. And if he is able to do that, then yeah, that puts them definitely in a different sort of a conversation. But until I see that happen on, like, more than just once, in a sense, like, I'm not convinced.
What do you guys make of Dexter, though? Because for me, I think he's one of these AWPers that can be flashy and have these, like, big moments. But when I watch him, I think his general decision-making is quite
bad.
poor. And he can miss some pedestrian shots, but he can have these like real hot patches, like a bang, bang, bang. He can even do it. He can rifle too.
He's like a diet brokey to me, where like he's an opera that thrives in chaos when like his brain doesn't have to operate. I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that, but like he doesn't have to think about what he has to do next. But like when the chaos
moment
is there and he gets to
presented
go
to
on
him.
intuition and he just gets to go by feel of the situation, I think it is very well. But I'm with you. I think his positioning and his decision making is super poor. I think he has some impatience, it feels, when he's trying to hold angles and like doesn't want to just sit there and hold the angle. So there's like those fundamental aspects of being an opera that I think are missing. Yeah.
He's the hammer, whereas someone like, Zaiwu is a scalpel.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
yeah.
brute force, not finesse.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. Yeah. I think that like obviously when people are talking about Heroic's draw, they're saying, oh, it's tough, but like I think it's tough because they were winning, and then you obviously have to beat other good teams to go through, right? And now that you went 2-0, now you kind of have to walk it back through the remaining teams who did have upsets throughout.
And you have the disappointing, the Navi, who's dropped probably too many games for where we expected
Mate,
them to be as
Navi
well.
yesterday was embarrassing versus Spirit. That was embarrassing versus Spirit. I can't quite believe bro, nobody could aim.
They just didn't show up ready to play.
Nobody had hands.
First 2 days, bro, they're just like not ready to play. It was the Liquid, not the
new
Liquid
game,
was the
Liquid.
first one.
MIBR game, the MIBR
But then
game.
the MIBR game, like on Inferno.
JL got absolutely bodied.
Yeah.
It was like 6-1.
It was unreal watching
Watching Insani in Banana was like a man fucking possessed.
Yeah.
That was God mode.
Looked like he was cheating.
It was insane how good he was.
You know,
was so
just
good.
like the great timings, owning the aim-wise, he was incredible.
Jason, can you check where JL's at in stats for the stage so
the
far?
event?
He's got to be in like the bottom 10. Today in the map they won on Mirage, he was like 9 and 17. And I rate JL quite highly. I don't
I
know
do
where
too.
he is.
Yeah, me too. I was saying, like, does he end up being maybe the most impactful rifle at the end of the year, depending on the run?
Well, Techno's lower than him,
1,
and
2,
Techno's
3,
qualified.
4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 8th worst player at the event.
Well, Brokey's down there as well.
Yeah.
Tough.
That's wild though. I mean, it's kind of a funny.
Brolin's down there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues.
What's going on with Brolin? I'm not
Oh.
worried about Carrigan. That's weird.
I wonder.
Brock is not really
Kerrigan's always going to be there.
Carrigan, Brokey's
Shush
flashes
is down
are
there.
good though, Yanko.
Shush and Brokey are down here as well.
Dude, I had to go with something today. I was like, well,
What did you
Brokey's not fragging, but he's in the top 5 flashes.
Yeah, you're really like,
That was me for Zontix today. I was like, well, he's not doing anything crazy, but when they come to him, yeah, he's doing all right. You know, they're showing up.
He qualified, huh?
That's so crazy. Shiro and Dong had 20 kills. The rest of the guys had 6.
Well, Dust too, right?
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Zontix had, I thought, a really good ancient. He obviously had those like impact rounds in the post plants and the clutches in those rounds. But even like I think he just played a good map overall. I was amazed at the T side on Mirage. I was like, please do. I felt really. I mean, I didn't really feel bad, but like. It was like 9 rounds of defaulting in mid, getting destroyed by Nerds, getting destroyed by Heroic, and then they call to go do an A execute, and on that round, Heroic decided to push down A ramp and caught them all with nades. And I was just laughing.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
was after the 1v5.
yeah,
right?
but I was like, you should have been doing this a little bit earlier. Like you should have broken out of this default style way
earlier.
Yeah.
But the
it's
problem
because
is, I
that
also
works
said
against Navi.
I also said this, like, it's like what do you do? Like, you can't blame Chopper for the round where like Magus just dies in ramp without getting a kill, immediately early round on A, and you have lost all A control. What do you do then as an IGL in a like that's also the issue. But here's the thing, right? Obviously, if you're gonna make changes in Spirit, you're gonna remove Chopper and Magix.
Well, you can't. Zontix can't be your third best player.
I guess. So who do you get as an IGL? That's the first question.
I don't know.
That's why I don't. I'm surprised.
The Trojan horse.
And Shiro benches
Blade's
himself
final
like
problem.
2 months later.
Final play.
Oh dear. Jame and maybe
They're
not
looking
all.
to sell him.
I don't know. I have to. Perfecto's out there.
What,
Not as an
Instead
IGL.
of
Not as an
Magix,
IGL.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
I guess the other option would be this Kaisuke guy, but I haven't seen his game. Everyone tells me he plays too many similar roles to Donk, but
Hugo
you
told
obviously
me.
know I hate that conversation.
Hugo told me this, and I haven't fact checked him. So this is Hugo, and Hugo listens to the podcast. Shout out to Hugo one time. Hugo said that Kiyosuke is like he'll go in second after Donk, right, and then just trade him every time. Like the positions that he plays or the way that he plays right now in the academy team, he's like second in and he just insta trade.
Also, why do we have to be like a 16-year-old or 17-year-old? Like, can only
establish roles.
Yes, can only play this
True.
like one. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, we talked about this with Twists in the podcast. Like, you look at personalities, right? And like, if he's more of a quiet, passive, whatever, like an AF person, yeah, you're gonna be the lurker, bro. But if you're more of a fucking Gekindar eating the screen and licking the monitor, like, then you're probably
it's
gonna.
so ridiculous.
I think he got closer at this event.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I think he somehow
Just
actually
play-
started sitting
just
closer.
play stretched, little bro. Like, it's time.
holy.
What's going on?
No, but
man?
I'm saying, like, if he is that talented, like Navi absolutely regrets selling Monacy.
Sure.
And like, if they just pulled the trigger earlier and kept Monacy, instead of Simple, like, they would have another phenom on their
Wonderful's
heads.
good, but imagine that Navi team.
Yeah, exactly. So,
What if-
so it's like, if you're Spirit, you've seen that, and even though someone's willing to pay you $500,000 for the kid, like, he is the new biggest thing, right? Like, you're probably like, yeah, sure. I mean, we like money, and that's all great, but we could make that money back in like one PGL tournament if we win it next year, right?
Yeah,
and then you keep those. You have Donk, you have him, you have Shiro, you have Zontix. Get a fucking laundry machine to call for those 4 guys. I'm saying, like, anyone with half a brain should.
Dude,
be,
I heard a
should make-
rumor.
I always liked Jerry. I don't know what happened to Jerry in that Parivision team. They didn't do any and then he got benched. I thought he might be like a good choice. Now I'm not like so sure. I don't think Electronic, for whatever reason, seems to fucking saw destruction wherever he goes.
You can't touch him now.
Yeah, so you don't want him if you're Spirit, but like, who else is there that you could get? I don't know if any of these like tier 2.
Wait. I have something here. That could
Nothing?
play. No. So in an event, Spirit won. One of the. It could have even been Blast London. I'm not sure. But somebody told me, and first of all, I just want to say this. This is like, I can't remember it. It's a little bit spotty. Please don't fucking end up on CS2 News or some dumb quote or something
Too
like
late.
that. But I was told a piece of information that in that game, like, Chopper kind of locked up and Zontix was the one having to make the calls.
Okay.
Oh no.
Interesting.
It's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, but
that's right. Yeah, it is.
I didn't
fucked
quote
it.
a source. I didn't mention a time frame.
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter to
yeah.
any of them. It doesn't matter to any of them, Chad. You're going to be out there now.
I was just for Zontix led Spirit to
London Championship.
spring finals victory. Yeah, I don't know, but
Oh dear.
it's also it just doesn't look good. Like, on a macro level, it doesn't look too great. It's just Chopper on an individual level, man. I don't know what's going on. Like, there was 2 things. First of all, the 1v1 on Mirage from Cat. That
Bomb
was
was
just sad.
planted for him.
That
He
was just
peeked,
sad.
He didn't shoot.
But maybe even worse for me, Jason, was the round against Heroic on Dust 2. Their Spirit is on the CT side. Heroics is on a fucking Glock Eco. It's Magix and Chopper on A on ramp with 2 M4s. And these dudes, like, Heroic comes out Cat. They get like 2 kills or 3 kills, but they both die and Heroic plants the bomb. And then Shiro comes up with like the USP and kills the last 2 guys. It's like...
Well, Chopper like dropped the Molotov on the
dropped the
path and then
Molotov,
dropped
then
a
the
smoke
It's like,
to
bro,
block Goose so he could get
you're,
safety.
You're playing against Glock. Just fucking shoot
Shoot 'em,
them.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
like, come on, man.
Well, there
And
was-
the the confidence thing again, you know.
Yeah, I mean, just to have fun banging on Chopper here for a second. There was the round on Ancient as well, where Donk was fighting from the donut hallway to the A bomb site, and he was getting pinched. Like Nertz was inside donut, tucked against the wall with the Tech 9. 2 players coming out A main. Donk had already killed one in donut, and he's getting pushed, like swiveling. And Chopper sat on the other side of a donut smoke. He can either wait out the smoke and let Donk just eventually die or do what he has to do, or jump through to at least help try and kill Nertz and alleviate that pressure, and then focus on the A bomb site. And he just stayed. And Donk is like turreting back and forth, like killing shit. And it's please come through the smoke and help me out.
That part's even fine because Nerd smoke or whatever, and Donk from Donut killed the guy on A, then came back to deal with Nerds and found him, but only had 3 bullets left. And as he like picked, Nerds was hiding in that corner. It's like at that point, as he's going to fight him, that's when Chopper should be close, ready to trade, because he can't like kill them both. And he even dinks him. And Chopper still doesn't go through you could just blindly run and keep spamming as you're running. You're going to kill him. Like, that was crazy. They still ended up, luckily, winning the round. But it's what I think actually what happened was, if he killed them there and was in Donut, then they couldn't have planted. But because of this, they planted. They forced the next round. They didn't win, but they got another plant, and then the round after that they won. Okay. And that's when they got rolling. Like, that's when they started, because Spirit's money wasn't great, and their CT, and it ended up going to OT.
Yeah,
you know,
Spirit should have saved a couple of those rounds where they just decided to go for it, which was kind of
just
stupid.
how those rounds are just, man, like, how are you not seeing this? Like, you're the IG. If there anything should be, like, you should have the understanding of the game, right? And you should understand that's the play for you, right? And you need to go for it, and that's just it. That's the end of it. And yeah,
I don't know. I feel like some of their bomb site distributions are wild to me. Like, I look at their Dust 2, and they must have one of the weakest A holds on Dust 2 in the world. You have Magix as the pit anchor and Chopper as the A rotator, and it's like, well, thank God Shiro is the AWPer on A. Like, at least you have something. I look at it and I go, I know that position that Chopper plays is all going to be info based, and you're rotating around based on the info you get. But can you imagine unleashing Donk to play the A rotator role, and they come running out Cat, and let's say Shiro decides on that round he's going to start in a 2-1-2. It's fine. Donk will kill them running out Cat.
From slope, yeah.
Just like
He'll
Nico.
kill them from slope.
Just like Nico would. Like, just use him like you...
He'd kill them better.
Well, look at where they use Nico and use Donk like Nico.
That's fair.
Just do that.
No, Donk has a slightly probably better aim at the moment. Like, so what do you do? Has a better understanding, but...
What do you do? Put Chopper and Zontix at the B bomb site?
Yeah, but that's fine. Zontix is really good at anchoring. Like, he will do the job necessary. Like... I guess the reason you probably have Donk over towards as your mid to B player is
you like the mid pushes in the mid pushes,
which is also
well?
like, this dude should not be picking up the op ever.
No, which is like wild, but he shouldn't, because his aim is so good. He has no need to AWP. Like, why is he your secondary AWP? I guess because sometimes
no one else can do it.
Sometimes Magic does it. But anyway, they made it to the playoffs. Congratulations, Spirit.
I guess if you have confidence, I mean, to go back to the congratulations, you've limped on it.
No, they got me 5. I got 5 in my pick'ems. I can get 7.
I guess if we go back to the original,
what's the max?
10.
I might get 5 out of the 6 in my mid thing, because I got nothing in the 0-3. I got Vitality in the 3-0, and then obviously I had Navi in the 3-0 and Mongols in the 3-1. So those two just I might get everything else right. I had G2, Mouse, Spirit, Liquid,
and then you have FaZe.
FaZe.
Okay, so you need Mouse and FaZe to win.
I need only one. I need either.
No, but you need both of them to get 5 out of those.
Yeah, but I don't need. I have to get the pick'ems. I need 1, but to get 5 or 6, I need 2.
Yeah.
I'm fine on pick'ems. I need Mal's, Navi, or FaZe and Fury.
Did you guys get 5 in the first one?
Yeah. I got 7 in the first one.
I'm just a fucking idiot. Jason will, timestamp this.
Timestamp that.
I don't know.
Well, okay. The Heroic versus Navi game is actually the most interesting match of the day tomorrow, though, right? Like, I think Furia versus FaZe could go either way, but that's like who's going to limp across the finish line.
Yeah, Heroic Navi should be the best game in terms of quality of Counter-Strike. But FaZe Furia, I think, is big just because...
FaZe Furia is huge. I think the only game that's not great is the MIBR mouse. And MIBR could make it better, but I don't think they will.
This was the old roster.
I don't think MIBR make it. Yeah, the one with there was...
Yeah, that's the old roster. So, I mean, it was Navi winning 2-1 at IM Rio.
Okay, so that's it.
Is their history.
Okay.
And that was go up and go on the stats for Dust 2.
For which team? Both?
No, on that game. Up.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, yeah. And then there, yeah.
16-14 win for
Oh
Navi.
my god.
Look at the round distribution, like round timeline.
Oh,
wow.
just dominant T
Yeah,
sides.
okay.
God bless.
You see, like they couldn't fucking,
Defend anything.
and they choked on CT side. They started like, they fell apart. Like you could tell it got to them. No surprise they have
I
Tassis
didn't
on their
think
team.
Navi were going to lose to Gamer Legion today. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. Like, I thought
No,
that
there was no way.
That was a shoe-in because I had Wildcard and Game Legion as my 0-3s. Unfortunately, they played each other, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. And I had my 3-0s as Vitality Mouse.
These teams got a lot better at it, but man, still, like, I don't think people quite understand how much more stressful best of ones are for these like favorites,
Yeah.
right? Because players also get a little bit stupid about it because they worry about every little thing that may or may not happen, like, and get more affected by, you know, a silly round happening where a guy gets lucky by killing them, you know, get shot through the smoke randomly, or a guy kills you blind and everything, just because the stakes are higher, because that's the one map you're playing, you know, and that round might define it. And it's shitty, right? Like, but that's why we still get upsets in them, you know. And I really hope that what's left for the majors is no more best of ones. Stop doing the book holds and this 1 versus 9 thing. Just do it properly. Get rid of Swiss.
So, that's
and
it.
have all the teams play each other in the same stage.
So let's
Just three little
Okay, so yeah.
So many problems there to tackle at once. If we could choose one problem to fix first,
Best ones.
okay, but let me offer you something, and I want you guys to put your pro player hats on. You choose between either a double elimination style bracket for qualification, and I know you're already on board with that, or you keep Swiss where you have the 3 chances, but it is like it is now, with the best of ones as establishers and the best of 3s as elimination or progression, but without the butthole system.
No, I'm a double
Was butthole
elimination.
funny to you, Joe?
It was funny to me. Can I offer a third option that I already know you guys are going to hate?
That's fine. Offer it away.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite options.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to try it in a major as the first go, but I've always liked this system that the Dota had the best of ones for seeding. If we did like a best of ones
I'm
for
out.
seeding.
You knew we'd hate it. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't like it either because we
Waste
have
of
the
time,
seeds.
bro. What's the point?
We have
What
the
are we
seeds.
doing? We're already doing Swiss with
but
best of ones.
We play next year. We're going to play the entire season to determine your qualification. I don't think I need to see people playing against each other for seeds. Like they'll be playing against each other all season.
I mean, we're going to be
long.
playing the entire.
What?
There's going to be a lot of Swiss next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't. That's the problem. Why? You know that? Why is there going to be a lot of Swiss?
there's 32
Because
teams.
Valve fucking loves it for whatever reason. Maybe one of them is Swiss. I don't know. You know, not very popular the Swiss right now in the Counter-Strike scene. But I think that probably also we want all the teams playing against each other at the same time. Not the shit with skipping stages.
I hate skipping stages.
That-
I would
but that's
like
the
to-
problem.
Just
Like,
do a
that's-
32-team Swiss.
You are not serious.
No,
You're
but
just
why
trying
not?
to rile me up,
No, but
Chad.
why
I
not?
said my mental is stronger.
But why don't we just do 32?
I'm a Jedi Master. I'm not a fucking Padawan.
Swiss is just meant for a large body of teams. Why don't we do 32-team Swiss
It's
at the same
meant
time?
for a large body of teams that you cannot properly seed.
But
so
we can
so
prop-
the Swiss system seeds them.
But we can
Wow, that's
properly
a tongue
seed.
twister.
We
That is a
can
tongue
properly seed, and we can have all the teams at once, and we could play Swiss, which means you'd have more than 3 games required, right? There would be more than 3 games necessary, I think, to get all the teams qualified.
Here's the problem. We have a couple of problems. We have a problem that 32 teams playing at the same time
Logistics.
is 250 people that you have to
Yeah,
accommodate.
logistically, it's a nightmare.
It's probably impossible at this point in time for the scale that
Nothing's impossible.
that we're operating at. But
Valve are $1 billion company.
I don't know. That PUBG tournament went off without a hitch, or whatever that was back in the day.
well, I mean, yeah, if Valve was gonna contribute more, well, actually, they contribute travel and accommodation, so that's actually it.
Just the amount of game stations. What am I, a fucking 90-year-old man? Game
Gaming station.
Get to your game
Don't worry.
station.
I'll borrow some PCs. But I mean, okay, so let's say if that weren't a problem, yeah, just have them all play. Like it could even be something as simple as the World Cup in football.
Apologies.
It's like 4 team groups. Even though I hate saying, you know, I don't like that.
Don't they play each other
Make it-
twice?
No, it's
Just once?
No, they played. It's a round robin one time, but that's shit. We don't want that. But I'm saying like, just do it. Just do
The GSL.
Yeah, but do it with 16 teams. Like do the Cologne times 2.
So you play different opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just do that, man. And that's it. And you get 8 teams out of that, and that's your playoffs.
I'm with
Right?
you.
And it's first.
There's a mouse in here.
And it's first
Yeah, what is
versus.
that?
I think it's me.
It's
Okay.
first versus 32nd, second versus 30, and that's how it goes. And then when you drop down, you have another chance. And that's it, bro. It's the fucking world championship. You get 2 chances. You can't do that. See you later. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah. Format talk. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, sorry about that.
no, you're right. On like the 9th or 10th of January,
Yes?
is anyone using your boot camping facility?
Probably, yeah. What do you need?
Well, I'm flying in early for the award show. I got to do something.
I can.
When are you getting there?
I can probably.
The 9th.
Okay, same time as me.
You'll come to my place for dinner.
There we go.
Yeah, Jane and I are gonna come.
Oh, the baby too?
Not the baby.
My baby will be there.
Okay, at least there's one.
At least
Yeah,
there's
I know.
one. There you
But
go.
I can, as long as I have an extra PC free, I can hook you up.
Okay, nice. Okay, I'm flying in and then I'm flying back to Oz.
Yeah, that's how it works. Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
You're
All
flying
right,
in
yeah,
from
yeah.
Oz and flying out to
So,
Oz.
yeah.
So
Alright.
you're flying from Australia for like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah, I think I leave on the 8th and I...
Oh, baby, get
Return
business
on the
class for that
12th.
one. Hey, dude, I'm no joke. Fucking start a miles account
Here
for
he
that
is.
flight.
Here he
Please,
is.
for the love of
This
God.
guy.
And we'll go
Please,
back again to the
Here we
account.
for the love of God. Get a miles account for that. I don't know who you're flying with. Just make one.
All right.
I'll make it for you.
Thanks, Jason. Really appreciate
I'll
it.
do the other alliance for you.
Okay, all right. Because I'm already thinking about, like, we've obviously got a week left of the major to go, but after the major I go home,
Yeah.
which should be very nice.
Yeah. I'm excited to go home after this.
And I'll have the sun. You guys will have winter.
I like the winter. I want it to be cold.
Bro, I hate Belgrade. It's so crowded around holidays. It's like, ideally, I always get out, but, with the baby,
You can't.
it's too much work. And also, I've been away for I've been
This is a
traveling
month,
too. I just
yeah.
want to be out. So, gonna keep it pretty chill, but it's just so. But did you see Maui's tweet about the bracket if the favorites win?
Oh, for the playoffs?
Yeah.
No.
So it's
How confident
If-
are we in this potential?
well,
bracket?
I'm not confident in FaZe beating Furia, and
No.
that would actually change it by a lot. But if FaZe, Maus, and Navi win, this is the bracket: Mongols versus FaZe, Vitality versus Maus, G2 Navi, and Liquid Spirit.
But wouldn't Vitality versus Mouse would be on the other side of the bracket than Mongols versus FaZe, right?
Would it?
Well, yeah, because
Yeah, the
Vitality
second
would
seed
be
would
the
start at
second
the
seed.
bottom.
All right, yeah.
So
So it would be Mongols FaZe Clan, G2 Navi, one side of the bracket, and Vitality Maus, Liquid Spirit on the other side. But
okay.
I prefer if Furia beats FaZe. You want to hear that one, Chad?
yeah.
Mongols versus Maus,
Okay, good
and
game.
Liquid versus Furia, and then Vitality versus Navi, and Spirit versus G2.
Who was the Navi game?
Vitality.
Ooh.
But in either case, because I feel like Navi and Maus will win, right? The only one that can happen is FaZe,
Furia.
right?
Yeah.
So you either get Vitality Navi or G2 Navi. In that case, in the quarterfinal.
That's pretty spicy.
If FaZe win, who do they play?
If FaZe win,
Mongols.
they play the
Mongols.
Mongols.
Yeah, but okay. I would prefer that because the Mongols. Oh wait, it'd be their first time on a stage like that.
yeah, then you'd have to pump that storyline. FaZe, we
I
know
don't
they can
wanna
always
do
do
it
it.
again.
Honestly,
we know they can
doesn't-
do it. Stage
won't,
warriors.
It won't matter. At that point, it doesnn't matter because they've been in like the loudness
True.
and everything. So the fact that it's just like a bigger arena, I don't think it matters.
Because I want the Mongols to go deep, and at the moment
I
with
do
the way
too.
the FaZe are playing, they don't deserve to.
I
go
want a
deep.
Mongols
They
G2
haven't-
rematch grand final.
That'd be sick.
I just want G to win. I don't give
I
a
just
fuck who they
didn't
have to
like.
go
I
through.
just didn't like what I heard with Liquid versus Furia because I don't think Liquid have done enough at the moment to deserve to be in the semifinals. And if they beat Furia to get to the semifinals, I would feel that they have gotten
And
the
they-
easiest path to the.
and they would have beaten them in every stage. They would have been in the
Still
RMR.
Still a more
Opening stage.
still a more difficult path than for Vitality to lift the major trophy.
Yeah, but you were doing a Blast reference. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Vitality have beaten the same teams Liquid did, and I saw like people doing a comparison, and they were like, "Oh, Liquid have had the easiest run," and they're like, "Oh, look at Vitality, they're owning it." It's like, yeah, but because Vitality did actually own everybody, whereas Liquid
Have kind
had
of
to
struggled.
eke past. Like they're pushing a boulder
I
uphill.
think the important thing is no one will lift the trophy by beating shit teams, and that's all there is to it. Like, yeah, you can get to the playoffs, and maybe Liquid with different opposition wouldn't make the playoffs, but that doesn't mean they'll go on to win the tournament, right? Because of it. Like
Liquid will be the best team to draw in the quarterfinals, but they're not like any walkover team.
Other than potentially Furia.
Other than potentially
Or
FaZe.
FaZe.
Yeah.
Those,
Yeah,
probably
those-
all
yeah.
Do you think we'd
yeah.
put Liquid above FaZe right now? I've
I've
only seen one FaZe game.
I would put Liquid above FaZe in
In a
any game
head-to-head,
versus except for the head-to-head. You know? If it's a head-to-head, I'll go with FaZe.
Dude, FaZe looks so bad today.
What game did I
I don't
cast?
know,
I casted one FaZe game.
Right now, the hottest team obviously seems like Vitality. And then I'd put
Mongols.
G2 before the Mongols simply because, okay, they beat them, but it was
And
the
they know what
best
it
one.
takes to
And
win.
you look at now it's a best of three, it's the
Yeah,
playoffs. I
think that's
I
fair.
still go with G2, but then Mongols is the third one,
Yeah, no, I agree. Which is
which is a wild thing to say.
Unless Na'Vi can have like a real resurgence of form, which would require them winning 2-0 tomorrow against Heroic and looking convincing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, they're back, right? They had a really slow start. They look shocking, but here we go. They're back. They're back in business. Heroic have given trouble to everybody, but no, not Na'Vi. The defending champs put them down. Like, dude, yesterday when I was in I was watching the Mongols game, right? And I was in the gym during that Anubis match. And between sets, like I'm focusing on the television. I've put it above the treadmills. And
What were you doing?
chest. So I was already getting
Yeah, you
fucking
were.
amped.
I can tell.
Yeah, and then they were winning, and lucky I was the only one in there because like Mazzino gets like this 3K in overtime, like yeah, fuck yeah, Mazzino, and I'm just like yelling at the TV. That game got me so fired up.
Yeah.
Mongols have to be one of the most liked teams at the moment.
They
Like,
have to be.
because
Well, everyone loves an underdog story. And like they're just cool
Except
personalities. Now they're cranking out, like breaking out of their shell.
Yeah.
And like, and everyone just wants Asian Counter Strike to have a team that's like good. Like
Yeah,
we
we've
all
always wanted
universally
Asia
want
to
an
be
Asian
good.
team to do well.
dude, the thing that I've always said is the way that Australian Counter-Strike gets better is if there's more events in Asia because it's shorter for them to go and then we
Yeah.
can all kind of help each other within the region.
At the time zone.
Yeah, and if the Mongols are good, and it means maybe it draws more attention to the region, and then like this is why it's such a shame that we lost Jam Young from that Tyloo roster because I think that the firepower in that Tyloo roster could have been real good. Like if they had enough time in Europe and the right guidance, they could have been a good team.
Yeah.
Like I think that with the firepower, Mosier, Mercury, Jam Young, and Starry, I think they would have been sick. G, I'm still out on him as an AWPer, but. Anyway, why am I talking about Tyloo? Like, what is
Yeah,
You're
this-
just
this-
pumped.
You took a weird
Chad.
turn.
You're
Yeah,
just
you got
pumped.
jacked
It's
up.
great. Yeah. But I think no matter who ends up winning tomorrow, like it's gonna be a super interesting playoffs. Just with like Mongols there, that's the one storyline. How far they can take it. Second one, G2. Last dance. Will Nico win his first major in his last tournament with the team and then actually switch teams?
Yeah.
Right after winning the first major, you know what will happen to
his second major after 10 years?
Yeah.
Taz as a coach.
That's never happened, right? That level. No, there's no way that's happened.
not with that level of
Yeah,
disparity.
10
of
years.
time.
maybe Apex, but it's not 10 years. It's
No,
less.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's 8 or something.
What was it? He won
Cluj,
You have that.
Cluj, right?
You have
2015.
Navi obviously going for the repeat. You have Spirit with their, Donk's rookie year. Will he be able to lift a trophy?
And they would bookend the year. They would win Katowice, the first big trophy of the 2024, and the major last big trophy. of
Twist, can he
2024.
return to his old home and lift a major trophy under the Liquid banner? FaZe, do they still have it left in them?
The Liquid one, surely there's a bit more there. Jesse.
Yeah.
There's a bit more in the Liquid one.
I know.
Don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think
more.
Liquid
Fallen
starts-
is the closest one for the I was gonna say for the 10-year thing, but it was 2016, so it's like
It's
8.5 years.
Because like the Liquid one is like for me, okay, so the Twist storyline is the main one, returning to Liquid, sure, but now as an in-game leader, returning the team to the glory which he achieved with them last in 2019 before everything started to fall apart into the online era. Alongside a NAF, so I guess you can go the Canadian angle. Ultimate, I guess you can bring up another
Diamond in the
flashy
rough,
AWPer
yeah.
type of story. There's not a lot to do with Justin. He would just be the first Australian to ever win.
That's actually
right?
pretty good. That's a
Pretty
solid
good.
angle, yeah.
And
I
I
mean-
think he's returning to the top 8 for the first time since 2019 with Renegades.
Yep.
He also has that thing going for him. Like if you don't have him on your team, you can't win a big turn. Like he won
Yeah,
Kato
true.
back to back, Cologne.
And then there's
one
Yakinder.
time.
And then Yakinder's Vindication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Yakinder.
I think
I'm trying to
I think
think.
they're on.
Your kindercation.
No, they're highly unlikely, but you have also, the Mouse, like if they get over the hump somehow,
finally,
like
Another potential last dance, as far as we know.
yeah.
Oh yeah, with
probably.
that whole narrative around it. But I guess it's like finally they would break the narrative around them being studio merchants, right? Like
Yeah.
that'd be it.
Took them 2 years,
What
but they
better
made
way
it.
to shut everybody up,
Yeah,
win the major?
it's just so wild, and now we'll play their G2 or Vitality. I mean, they've deserved it for how they've played in in this stage, but
I really
it's
want.
just a bloodbath. Also gives a really good game on the quarterfinals. Like we kind of dig that.
Actually, on some level, I think the coolest final
It's like
would
the
be
Phase Spirit game.
G2 Vitality. That'd be such a sick grand final to have.
Yeah.
Especially with the number one battle between
With
Monacy
the way
and
Navi's
Zawu.
playing right now, yeah.
Yeah.
And for that narrative too. Fuck
be
off,
sweet.
Completely blanked on that one, huh?
Dude, that's a weird one too, because I came into this like I came into this.
on Monacy, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I think Monacy was the best player coming into this event. Nothing's changed my mind quite yet, but I'm looking at Zawu and I'm like, he was kind of like third place in my mind. But dude, his year is so crazy consistent with how good he's been. He has not had a single off event.
Oh, but he also, I mean, he turns it up a little bit in the second half of the year.
Yeah,
It's better.
for sure.
But
Slow start.
I think for me it will come down to the playoffs, right? Like if Monacy is able to have a great playoff, even though now he's below in this tournament, even Nico, but it's Donk, Zaivu, Nico, Monacy, right? In the elimination stage. And it's, always your stats get a little bit inflated when you're like owning people.
Farming
I mean,
mids,
Vitality played MIBR in the best of 3, right? As well, and owned them and all that stuff. So it will come down to the playoffs, right?
The big boy games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think probably it's down to between Monacy and Zaivu, unless Donk has like a sort of a historic.
He'd have to do the carry of
performance.
today on every.
No,
series.
he'd had to do the Katowice tournament again.
Yeah.
That's it. He'd had to repeat the Katowice performance.
Well, isn't he heading there? What is his stats?
It's like
1.5, I
1.5
think.
something.
What did he get there?
1.7.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like he would. It almost feels impossible.
And I
to
don't know
recover
what's the
that.
difference like between 2.1 and
1.5.
2.0 for him.
Who's
Maybe-
the next closest on Spirit? Shiro. Makes sense. Okay, then it would be Zontix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Like, dude, if he can be unleashed properly, and we're not seeing these dog shit T sides from Spirit, there's no reason Don can't you get you 2 kills around on entry. Like people have counters for him and stuff, but I don't know. It feels hard to cage him. It feels hard to put a fucking
The
leash
closest
on him.
I've seen anyone really do it was Heroic and Nerds today on Ancient. I think they did a good job like preventing him from getting any mid control. But I mean, Mirage, they just shut him down like in a head-to-head basis. Ancient, they shut him down tactically, not
But
letting him have
Chopper's
mid.
the main con control player on the T side. Like, he's the one who, at least in the Na'Vi game, was always taking the con space.
So Nerds was just getting aggressive and just killing dogs.
Yeah, I was watching it, like breaking the smokes and fighting
Yeah.
on Cat and killing him every time. Like, then they just, if they didn't, they just knew once the util came in, they were like, okay, we're going to wait like a couple seconds for you to crawl up, and then bang, and then they would
Yep,
attack. And I was
flashbang
like,
out, everyone
yeah.
peek.
It was like, and
Yeah.
that's great. Like, I think if Heroic don't make the playoffs, I hope to see Nerds end up in the shuffles on a better roster. Because I've always really liked what Nerds delivers. I think that he's a very strong player. I would like to see him end up somewhere. Like,
I'm not going to argue against it because I've thought the same thing this whole year. I've just been really impressed by that. They've hit a level at this major that I didn't think they would at all.
they're
ever.
playing better than I have thought they would.
But I feel like there's a ceiling that we're also like. I don't know how much higher they can raise the
I
level.
think people are talking a little bit too much about them. Like
think
if they were that good,
Really?
they would have won one of the last 2 games.
yeah, but they're playing better than my expectation, which wasn't very
Yeah,
high.
but that's because the expectations were really low, not because they're really good.
Yeah, but I think other people, like I've read some discourse of people thinking they're good. I might be proven wrong tomorrow when they beat Na'Vi, and they might have a good run in the playoff bracket, but I think that the dialogue at the moment, I kind of agree with your sentiment. I think it's a bit overrated. Like,
Okay.
I at least like I
Yeah,
don't.
that's fair.
I think that they can have good momentum-based games, and they definitely can get in arm wrestles, like if they're in the mud. But I wanted to. This is one thing that I wanted to talk about. Did you see that Nico no longer not no longer, but on Mirage, for example, you didn't see it today, but he was mainly an extremity player. Like it was Malbs and Snacks doing a lot of the mid control, and then the other 3 would be ready to execute or lurk. Like he was Palace guy, right, on Mirage.
He was that, no?
So but I think there was other times where some of the defaults for G2 in the past had him a bit more pack orientated.
Yeah, but that's because the default, we had that in phase. Because when we think that the CTs are going to fight us for mid, so you can
bring
do
in
2
that.
things. You can pop aside, to try to get ahead of them, but you can just be like, fuck you, we'll do the default still. We'll literally
bring more
had,
firepower.
we had a 5-man default.
We'll bring our ace
We
in
had
the
a
hole.
5-man mid default where we would bring the A guy and the B guy would go underground with an extra guy. The A guy would just go with the pack, and we were like, had a different default where we would just do it and sort of be positioned for the fight to come in. First, the quick one with the insta flash and running through con, and then the delayed one kinda to what to do. So I think it's more just like in that default, he goes there and they have that type of a play as well in their playbook. But still, when it's like kind of just standard stuff, he will be more towards the A side.
Maybe I was reading too much into it because it was also kind of like bookended by there was like a Monacy interview, I think it was with James, where he was like talking about we had some, or maybe it was Snacks, one of the two of them, because I was watching the Snacks HLTV interview. I'm not sure which one it was. I'm kind of all confused up here, but one of them was saying that they had some bad defaults that they needed to like kind of fix and some things they had to change in those regards, because there was some certain T sides for G2 earlier in the year, well in this last 6 month spread, where they would kind of just get in these positions and just stop, and there'd be no call, and there would be nobody like who'd be active and stuff. Where so they've obviously addressed those things, but it got me thinking about Falcons. So I'm future thinking right now. Let's say that the team does end up being Monacy, Nico, Magisk, Jimmy. You still need one more aggressive rifler in there, and most people probably mind goes to an in-game leader. But let's say Magisk in-game leads, because if you have Nico there, you're going to have someone else who's going to have a big voice and contributing. I think Monacy's going to have a lot of ideas. What about Elige?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine Elige, Nico, Jimmy, Monacy, Magisk.
Yeah. I have a hard time with Elige. I have a hard time placing him in my head anywhere, just because of the stuff outside the pure gameplay.
You don't like his attitude.
Yeah,
but
but
also-
I think that's a
but-
reputation he now has, and I think that's going to make it hard for him to
let's say
potentially
he's-
go somewhere like that.
Let's say he's matured ever slightly. You know, there's a big fucking difference between playing with Grim and Floppy and fucking Nico and Magisk. You know, let's not fool ourselves, right? I don't think he will have a lot to complain about in terms of what they're doing on the map and their decision making. And
Oh, come on.
What do you
Nico.
think, Jason?
I think.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not even going to go after Elige on this one.
A bastard could always find something to complain about.
I'm not even going to take the Elige angle. I'm just going to say we've had plenty of situations where we haven't had much to complain about. We always find a way to complain about some stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
You always find things to complain
That's
about.
fair.
You always find things to bother
Yeah.
you, no matter how good shit is.
That's
You got to
true.
have
It's human
something to
nature.
bitch
It's
about.
Human nature. And Elige is obviously.
And I'm not even going to make it personal on him at all. I'm just saying there's going to be complaints, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be fights.
let's say I agree, but you know the levels of bitching differ. Like let's say he's bitching here right now. Yeah, he'll bitch a little bitch over here.
The interesting
You
thing
know?
would be seeing how they deal with it. Like maybe they're better equipped to deal with it. They definitely will be than a Grim and a Floppy, right? And obviously they carry a lot of weight and respect with the pedigree and history and level that they play at. But yeah,
Well, Elige
it
would have
just be
never
interesting.
been in a team with such good players. Never in his career has he played with players of that caliber.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I think every time I think
The only guys that come close are Naf and Twist.
Pip made that tweet, and I think it's pretty accurate. There's not a single team in this world
And
that
simple.
that Elige could walk onto
Not
that he
willingly,
wouldn't make
though.
them instantly better. He would make any team he joins instantly better in terms of in the game of Counter-Strike. It's just a
outside
question.
of-
Except
It's
with
just
Spirit
a
because
question
they
of
couldn't communicate.
like. Actually, I bet he'd even make them better. You know, I think he could replace Magic and make them better.
Actually, put him instead of maggots. Fuck it.
But, you know, like it's always going to make them better. It's just a question of when you actually have to develop things or change things and build things, can you find a way to work together properly? And that's where the X factor. And maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on my experience. Wasn't the most positive in the world, but that's always going to be the X factor for me if a team at least joins is how long does it take before those frays begin?
Actually,
That's what
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This Donk 1v5.
Yeah.
Do you actually consider it a 1v5? Do you need space between that first
Okay,
trade,
No,
right?
it was a
Okay,
1v5.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a
right?
1v5.
But the first kill, he wasn't like 1v5 and then 10
look-
seconds passed and then he got the first kill.
But
It
it
was
doesn't
like
matter. It was still.
And I don't need 10 seconds. I need like 2 seconds or
just,
something.
Just that the first kill is not a trade kill.
I think it's still fine that it's a trade kill.
You think?
Bro, it's a 1v5.
I think it's a technical.
Holy
I think
shit,
it's
bro.
I think it's a technical
We really hit a
1v5.
spot here.
It's a fucking 1v5.
No, dude, it's
you
a
cunt.
it's a technical 1v5. You need to have like a
Technical
second
one.
or two after the trade.
fucking god.
We got him.
If we want to talk,
We fucking got him.
if we want to talk about what's bad about this round, it's fucking
It's heroic, obviously.
picking him like
Ego
But
peaking.
here's the thing: I rewatched. They were not ego peeking him.
Have you
They
seen
tried-
it from Donk's POV?
Yes.
From the opponent's POVs.
No.
Okay, so go to my Twitter.
Okay.
I retweeted it. Viridian Bowser, Aussie guy. He tweeted it out from their POVs.
Dear listeners, go to Chad's Twitter right now, and I'm going to maximize this. I'm going to start it over. I'm going to hit the play button.
Okay,
And
so you guys are upset about this first kill. Watch this.
No,
from
I'm not,
Shosha's
no, I'm not
perspective.
upset. I'm not upset about anything.
Watch this.
1, 2, 3, go.
owned.
I need to watch that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is
No,
you can only see
owned.
one by one
Yeah,
the
but it's
POV
fine.
of the
Owned.
guys. Oh, yeah, that's actually sick.
Right?
Yeah, it's
But
freakish.
remember, I asked. We had this for Katowice because I asked
The
for
Nico
it.
Deagle round, right?
No. It was for Donk. I asked for his highlights, but from all
Oh,
the
yes,
death
yes, yes,
POVs,
yes.
just so people see what's the time to kill for him, like how little. Because when you watch it from him, like it doesn't
feels
feel
like
like you
there's time.
fully
He feels like
appreciate.
Neo in the
you
Matrix,
don't
yeah.
fully appreciate like how little time.
Oh
Like
my lord, that
this
shot
is
on
stupid.
Dexter is
But when
crazy.
you watch it from his POV with the X-ray, you can see that, for example, the guy from bench, he swung,
preempted.
but that was when Donk swung on the fire guy and he couldn't see him. Like
Yeah.
I thought Heroic was ego peeking, but actually a couple of times they tried to double peek him. But it was a little bit unfortunate how it worked out. Yes, they
disconnected.
they could have just hid all of them and then waited more. It wasn't full ego peeking. It was just a little bit unfortunate, and it's just how good this guy is. Like it's
Yeah.
just fucking insane.
Ego peak isn't the right way to say it, but I think they definitely
watch
got a
it,
little
look-
bit
watch-
sloppy.
look at the- Watch this with X-ray,
They
right?
didn't
He
have
sees
to
this
play
guy.
This.
Now these guys,
Yeah.
he tried to peek him together, but then he didn't see him, so he fell back. But the opera was still in fire. He dies, and now they double peek him.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
Tessus should have gone first because he's lower HP, and then to get the trade because one bullet killed
But
him.
even
and
still,
that's
they
it.
do like why the first part. Shush dies. At that point, nobody needs to fight. There's 29 seconds left on the clock.
Yes. That's the.
They were trying to end it too early. They got excited about the
Yes.
victory at
Yeah,
hand.
They
and
were
just
like,
tried to end it too early.
some
Yeah.
maybe even like say, oh, let's fuck him. you know?
Exactly. And then Zontix almost did it to them the next round.
Yeah.
Zontix
That
got
was
down
so
to a
crazy.
1v1.
I
I was
know.
like, I would have lost it.
I would've
yeah.
freaked
I would have
out.
lost my fucking
It was the
mind.
same exact fight too. It was the kill to the guy to the left and the spray transfer over. Yeah, that was wild. Okay, but it was a nice 1v4.
Yeah. Refresh one was the real 1v5.
Yeah, the real 1v5. Where'd Refresh
Galil,
go?
B-bomb site, Inferno.
Galil, that's like a 1v6.
Yeah, you might as well give him the extra suit. Yeah.
It's easy to kill with the AK.
All right, I need to eat. Do we have anything else we want to touch on? I guess we should say this will probably be the last episode after the major, and then we're probably gonna have, and then we'll figure things out because you're gonna go home.
I can do whenever with times. It's fine.
No,
Well,
we're
I
gonna
know
take a break
because
over the
he'll-
holidays.
He'll get up early, so we'll do one of it's like PM for me, middle of the day for you, and morning
No,
for
it
him.
should be the other way. It should be morning for me, afternoon for you, PM for him.
No, he won't be. He goes to bed at 9 p.m. So it will be like 6 a.m. for him,
I could stay up late.
10 p.m. for me, and 4 p.m. for you.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, nothing until after the major, and
Everything for you guys.
But maybe I did the short, so I might just have a couple shorts saved in there to chuck out at some
I
point.
wanna say this. 2024 will be the last year that this podcast is not sponsored.
Yes, sir.
If anybody
Amen,
out
brother.
there has any relationship with anybody who wants to sponsor a podcast of the Counter-Strike variety, send us an email. And you know what? We'll reply to it.
we actually will reply to it this time.
That's the bare minimum.
Do
we
our
can
best to reply to it. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's get out of here.